Alrighty, hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel, welcome back to Space Engineers. This handsome young gentleman in his race suit is Quantum Tater. Quantum Tater, say hello. Oh, oh, I took a little damage. You know, it can never be perfect. It can never be perfect. Last time we got the start of our farm to table from scratch kitchen up and running. I'm gonna get me a little health back. Oh, you know what I didn't do? That's my bad. Hello. It's about high time I learned to wave again. No. Last time, yeah, we got the start. We can go take a look at that really quick. Do a little fly. Whee! Actually, you know what? Let's weave back over this way. Let's keep weeing all the way home. You know, this oxygen container looks decidedly not full. Actually, all the oxygen containers look decidedly not full. That's very interesting. Well, let's go ahead and hop on here. If you'll notice, in addition to our lovely, let's go take a look. Let's go do a little flyby. So, our restaurant has gotten, the general store and restaurant have gotten a little work done. You can see I did a little painting off screen. I believe it's off screen. Yeah, I did a little painting off screen. So you can see we've got ourselves a nice little restaurant. We got ourselves an overhang. You know, some welding needs to be done still. I was in the process of thinking what the warehouse side of things might look like for the other part of the restaurant, but you know, for the most part, we've done so good. I also painted the H Nutter. You know, it's got some color vibe now. It's definitely we're going for a whole look. You know what I'm saying? So that's good. If we take a quick stop in really quick, let's do a little two and I think we nope. How do we turn them all off? You know what? There's a button here that we just don't have. And it's because of that right there. So let's do this guy here. Actually, we have to redo them all. We have to do them all. So auxiliary thrust, we want first hydrogen thrust. We go toggle on, toggle off. This guy here, reverse thrust, we want to toggle on, toggle off. And really we don't even need the on part. So really what we need is instead of that, the auxiliary thrust, we would toggle off as well. So what I could do is I turn them all off. And then if I only wanted, for instance, oh, you know what we need to do? Turn them all off. This is going swimmingly. Landing gear is the next thing we need. We'll do a switch lock for that bad boy there. Okay, so if we unlock this guy, we turn on all the engines, and I turn off just the auxiliary thrust. Oh, that's all. I turn them all off. Don't do that. If I turn off just the auxiliary thrust, that gets this auxiliary off. If I turn off the reverse thrust, that gets just the reverse thrust off. And then I can turn them all back on. Bob's your uncle. That's what we needed. We needed to set that up. I had that kind of... That's a simple solution to what I was trying to figure out how to do later for no reason. I was making it way more complicated than it has to be. So, H-Nutter got a paint job. Looking great. Looking fine. Looking shipley. Shipley. Not the donut place, kids. Yeah, if we go inside, it's obviously still dark in here, but we got a little bit of paint job. I painted the floor. I missed a spot clearly there. That's fine. It's a stain on the carpet. Same there. Got our entranceway. You walk in. You're like, ah, yes, I'd like a good burger. Welcome to Good Burger, home of the Good Burger. Can I take your order? You get your order done. You walk over here. They cook it. You get it. You get your drink. And then when you're done, you come over here. You drop it off. Sink washing station, the griddle, you know, all that stuff. And then eventually fish once we have silver. Toilets for the folks, the thems and the thems, the jukebox, tables, you know, we got some painting. We've got, you know, you can pick up your frozen refrigerated goods. You can pick up your less frozen, non-refrigeratable goods, and then parts for your pirating. A couple of these aren't painted because they're not finished because I don't have all the components, red components, etc., etc. So, yeah, that's it. That's the general storefront. We got that kind of painted up and done a quick run around. You can see the side there. We've got those welded up. I think it looks pretty good. I like the look of it. We're gonna have probably some parking areas and stuff out here. I don't have any batteries on the grid, so it's still unpowered. I also added some stuff over here. I actually don't know why these aren't welded up. Oh, they're just because reasons. That's why. They're not welded up because reasons. And then I think I added some extra stuff on the inside that we may have already talked about, but if you come in here, you can see, oh yeah, emergency button for shutting down, stuff like that. We've got the rafters and stuff. It just, it's got a style in here. We added some lights and things like that. I think it looks good. I'm excited about it. How do you get it done? Let's get back out to the H nutter. It doesn't protect us at all from the sunlight, and it's no big deal. Who needs to be protected from the sun? Not me. Protection is for the weak. We get ourselves. And then see the auxiliary stuff? Look, that's working perfectly. That's looking good. I like the H nutter. I decided to go with like a more of a desert rabbit feel and not like a gray and white rabbit. Less cottontail, more whatever. I don't know. I don't know how to describe that. Now this thing's docking is a little less easy than um, the flying squirrel, but it still works. Go ahead and get that popped on. Lock it down right there. I'm going to eat another snack, even though my food's pretty full. You can see I've got a giant paint can in my inventory right now. So, last time we had some comments come across the board, which was great. I'm going to hide in the shade of my dear old hydrogen tank while we sit here and talk. But Pendragon, welcome back again. He basically said thanks for the explanation on the goat setup, or on the goat steps. He'd been fighting that too, and he asked if I had a list of scripts. I did, in fact, update my playlist um, description to have the scripts at the bottom. I have an advanced brake light script specifically for the squirrel, which is, I can actually show you that really quick. And then I've got I can't think of the name of how to pronounce it. Let me see if I can. Whips Auto Airlock, was it Whip's auto airlock script specifically for um, the airlock system. So basically all this does is the braking script. So when you label the tail light there reverse, and if you go into the inventory you can see. So you have to have the cockpit named seat, light named reverse, and then any lights you want to be brake, you do brake. So if I hit down or backwards, because I'm reversing, it goes backwards, forward doesn't do anything, and then I hit the brakes, spacebar, lights up the brake lights. And that's pretty much it. That's what that script does. It's super great. I'm sure there's a bunch of other ways to do it. I also got some messages. Prepared Viking said that some mods will break for crashing, stuff like that, and look for an update and stuff that could cause loading problems. So the crash isn't happening during loading; it's happening post-loading, I guess. I have copy and pasted this grid. I full copied it and pasted it in with advanced things, and it's still acting like I can't own it. So, and all that's really doing is saying that I can't put tracks on it for some reason, and I don't know why, because I own the whole grid. Um, I don't know. I'm not really sure what to do about that, to be really honest. So, it's honestly not being able to put tracks on it is not a huge, it's worse things have happened. So that's kind of that thing. Yeah, and then he said that the subgrids randomly detaching themselves, like that's a very old bug he hasn't seen in 5 or 6 years. Yeah, I can't say that I've ever had it, but I gotta say my subgrid usage has gone up tremendously over the years. I didn't used to use any at all because, you know, it's pretty unstable typically. So it's okay. It is what it is, basically at this point. I'm not gonna really fret too much. I do kind of want to build another one. I haven't gotten to the point of wanting to do that. And the squirrel gets enough charge sitting like this in the sunlight. Actually, it doesn't get charged at all for some reason. So let's go ahead and turn that back on. Why, why is everything in this ship turned off? It seems very odd that a lot of things are turned off right now. I don't, I don't know. Not really sure what's going on with this thing. It needs to be docked up probably, but I don't have a place to do that at, and it's such a weird height. What I could do this round is I could go ahead and take it over to the other base and get it docked up. We can go see what that looks like if we wanted to. I don't know that we want to. I don't know that we care in this moment. So there's that. Clyde said interior decorating has reared its ugly head. Hey man, hey. I think it looks pretty good. Anyways, he said the build looks good, but where are the customers coming from? You know what? After a hard day's pirating, sometimes you got to do a nice rest and relaxation. Even Han had the Moss Isley's Cantina, and that's what we're going for, the Tater Isley Cantina. We just want to give a place where everybody knows your name, and you can Well, nobody knows your name and you can conduct the business you want to conduct of your own accord. That's what we're looking for, really, honestly, Clyde. That's what it is. So, what else do we do? Go in here really quick, get some air back. Let's see. Hijack ships. Yeah, we're gonna. And then he asked if I was gonna hijack tour bus ships and force them to come in here and hang out at my restaurant and be patrons. Yes, I'm gonna force patronage. That sounds like a great idea, honestly. Yeah. And then he didn't see the fancy piping for the irrigation system. Yeah, there's some changes that need to happen there. We're definitely gonna have to take a look at that. The other thing that I did, and I actually surprised I don't have a comment from John, Mr. John Bray. I don't know where he's at, but John, where you at, buddy? Hit me up. And then what else? We got Chad. He said all it's missing in the new building is a play area for tater tots. No, sir. That and gaming and arcade room, billiards or air hockey. Now I know I've definitely seen the arcade like mod that there's like arcade blocks, but they should totally have a billiards mod. I painted the flying squirrel and did a little design work. So the flying squirrel's got a little work done. He's got the jet engine sort of like cowling stuff to get all the air out of that. Access to those things there. Just some paint job, just to give it a little. It's like the gray and white squirrel, you know, just to give it a little bit of pizzazz. That's what we were going for. I think what's going to happen this round. What are we doing today? That's the question everybody wants to know. And initially, I was thinking to myself, you know what we should do today? We should try to work on more of the farm to table. But I think what we're going to do is we're going to pop over to that beacon, and I think we're going to take it. I don't have 100% the plan in my head of what that's going to look like. But what we can do, we can run in here really quick. We can pop this bad boy open. Do we have guns? Ammo. We do not have any guns on. That's that's not what you want. You kind of want to have a gun somewhere. Ah, there we are. Okay. Okay. So let's take a pistoli and let's take not that. We're going to take 12 rounds. That's reasonable. Um yeah, that should be reasonable. We'll take 12 rounds. We'll and then we'll see what happens. Is this the Uzi? What gun is this? Gun. How do you type the word gun? You don't. Character weapons. I don't know what this thing is called. Pistol. Pistoli. All right. Got ourselves a pistol. Grab tool config is not set. I don't care about that. All right. So we got ourselves a pistol. What we're gonna do? We're just gonna fly over there. We're gonna investigate. Do a little look-see-loo. We're gonna put away our paint gun and stuff. We probably don't need this. Um, I don't think we need it. We're gonna take our pistol. We're gonna head over. We're gonna very calmly talk about. I would like to point this gun down. You remember how in Red versus Blue you could point the gun down and then you could rotate the camera and then it would look like you guys were talking? You can't really do that anymore. Anyways, or you never could here. But so we're gonna go over to the beacon. We're gonna take the beacon, guys. We're doing it. We're gonna get our. We need a place to call our own, and what better place than the place that is somebody else's? We're gonna start our pirating journey today, right now. Play some epic music editor. Piratey. I'm gonna get copyrighted. Anybody? Okay, we're going pirating really quick. It should be relatively painless because all we have to do is take out a single turret. That being said, I'm not really planning. You know what we should do before we do the pirating? I've got an idea. We should go investigate this unknown signal first. That sounds like a smarter idea and use of our time to see if there's any seeds on it because we're about to have a farm we've got to support with a couple of farm kids. 2 American farm kids doing the best they can. Or something, I don't know. What is this? Pirate salvage carrier antenna? Interesting. Private, no, pirate, it says pirate. Ah, so they're a salvager canteen. I understand. We haven't really tested if the TFSL beacon, if they've gotten any need to buy thruster components, because we're not currently planning for any reason whatsoever to use ion. And that's okay. We don't need ion. We don't need to use it, so. these are just random thoughts. You know what I don't have? Oh no, I do. I was gonna say I don't have an antenna on the H nutter, but I totally do, as there's an antenna pointing right there. So, yeah, so we're gonna go check out this unknown signal. Probably can speed it up a little bit. I don't need to fly this slow. Chad, you're right. It definitely uses less fuel when you've cut down the number of thrusters firing. But it feels less zippy. That's for sure. What do we got over there? We have something. We have something over here. Okay, let's get this unknown signal first. Something popped up on the radar over there for targeting. I'd be curious to see what that is. I did try to go also to the menu while we're talking about it. I did attempt to go into the menu systems and validate whether or not turning the engines off. Beautiful. I did go in and attempt to validate that I didn't have any random buttons. Come on, flip over. Flip over. Why are you this way? Okay, now flip over. There you go. I went to go to attempt to validate if I had any blocks still like sitting inside the mesh, because I remember part of the issue, or what I think was causing the crash, is that some of these microgrids that I had, because I had small grid on large grid, some of those things, I feel like what happened is they fell beneath or inside of one of the large blocks, and that caused an instability and all sorts of problems. So I did. Ooh, wheat seed. Hell yeah. And a coffee. We've done it. Anyways, I did validate. I tried to go through the system and look at like floating objects and stuff and do a cleanup, and honestly, nothing popped up. So that is to say that could have been the potential problem, but I don't know for sure. So we'll figure it out. Is all I'm saying. We're gonna figure out what's going on with that at some point. All right, let's get back in this little horse. And let's see if we can find whatever that was. Let's go ahead and turn off the auxiliary thrusters. We don't need all those firing right now. I was trying to see. We definitely saw something that lit up over here as if... Oh. We definitely saw something light up over here as if it was targetable, so I don't know what that was. But let's go ahead and get to this beacon and let's take our new home. At the very least, let's investigate. What if it's not worth keeping? What if it's not a home we want to keep? It's been on our radar for far too long, so this is our opportunity to go clear the field, if you will. And then that salvage carrier, I'd be curious to see if we get a warning light when we get too close to it. This vehicle is non-combat, obviously, so I don't really want to fly over there and get cooked, but I also kind of do. Not the cooked part, but I kind of want to fly over there and see if they're like, hey, leave the area or whatever. But there's that beacon again. We're 2.5 kilometers out, so let's investigate this, and then we're gonna go take our base. Yeah, that's the plan. I don't see it anymore, so that 2.5 meters should have been about the halfway distance between us and the supply post. I wonder what it was. You think it's another? It could be a rare mooncopter, another moonicopter. They're very unique species, native only to this moon. But I don't seem to see anything, which is suspicious. Scraps Moon Dancer? Moon Dancer, red signal. I know that thing's hostile. Ooh, pirate scrap drone. Wait a minute, I got something on radar over here. What do we think it is? Turning on thrusters. Coming in for a look-ski-loo. What do we think? It's just scrap? Gonna leave this thing flying. That makes a lot of sense. I'm glad we did that. Auxiliaries off. Let's get going. And then let's turn off that forward thrust or reverse thrust, and let's go ahead and take our little facility. I'd be curious to see what that pirate drone looks like too, but I don't really want to get into combat. So let's go take a little land ski on this thing and see what it looks like. This could be a new home. Look at this big flat area. This would be a great new home. Seems no ice in sight though. It wouldn't be great for that. We'd have to ferry ice to it anytime we needed something. But that doesn't mean we shouldn't take a look at it. So let's go ahead and do a quick flyby. Okay. You know what I think? I think this may be worth a look. Thrusters on. Let's bring it in for a little quick land-a-reno. Lock her down. What do we got in there? We got container, basic assembler. Got ourselves a graded catwalk, and what do we got? Compact antenna. We climb up on top. Oh, we're definitely going to turn this into a little house. On the prairie even. Oh, if I can get on. Oh my gosh, this is a waste of time. And we got a beacon. And we got a. This is the thing that's going to concern me the most. Okay, so first and foremost, look at this. Straight from the ground, we can climb straight up. I love it. It looks like we're pretty good. So the first things first is we're gonna take this thing out. Go! Damn it! I knew it was gonna shoot my ship. How much damage did we just take? Oh man, dang it. That's okay. It's okay. Okay. Compact antenna. Yeah, inventory full. We got you. Let's claim this grid. Check. Put that back on there. We're going to take this beacon down. Probably should have done that first, but I'll go ahead and put the parts back in it so I don't have to have it in my inventory. Same with this thing. I'll put those back in there so I don't have to have it in my inventory. You're mine. Perfect. Right. You'll defend me, correct? Let's see, what do we got? We got some boulets on there. All right, perfect. And then this guy can go back up. Looks like we're gonna have to hack this thing, which means we're probably gonna blow all the air out. That's okay. We're gonna get in here. Heck yeah, okay. Okay, no guns. Whew. Okay, we got, hey, I don't really need those, but cool. I appreciate it. I can dig it. What do we got in here? Hey, that is very useful. I don't think this thing has any cargo of note, so we're just going to have to come back for that.
Inventory full.
Inventory full. What do we got in here? Beautiful. I love it. Okay, what do we got in here? Ooh. My grandfather insisted we was a better shipbuilder than he. Oh man, I can't read. Reading's hard. My grandfather. I need a I need a good accent. What do we think? Okay. My grandfather insisted he was a better shipbuilder than me. Since when he was my age, he didn't have access to grids. I think he's just jealous. Since when he was my age when oh. Wait a minute. Better shipbuilder than me. Since when he was my age, he didn't. What does the GPS marker do, do we think? Do we think that, like, did that create a GPS marker somewhere that, like, is somehow useful to any way? No, no, it didn't. It did not. And then we got ourselves the lab equipment we don't really care about. And then, ooh, what do we got here? Broadcast antenna. We definitely need to get this under control. Okay. Broadcast controller number 2 incomplete. What else is on this grid? Okay, let's take a control panel look. Event controllers. Oof. AI defense. Oof. Where? Oh, I think I know where. That's light armor. That's light armor. Do we think there's something below us? Light armor. Ooh, you know what I like? I really like, hold on, pause. I think there's something below this thing. I really like that right there. That looks good. Give some dimensions. That's just a light steel panel. Okay, where's this event controller? You know what we need to do? We need to create more space. Let's dump all our stuff in there. Oh, we definitely don't need a sound block, but I think I'm going to leave it. Even though, are these hackable? They are hackable. My sound block now, fool. Uh, oh, that's, dang it, that was dumb. Okay, so select. By the way, if you don't have let's see. If you don't have the grid, there's a mod, and I believe I also put this in the thing, but the block selector where you press Control G and it selects the block, that is highly useful. Okay, what about you? Okay, something's weird here. That's hacked, that's fine. Is there... Let's get these lights on. Ah. Aha! A defensive block, we can get this thing ground down. We don't have to grind it all the way down. Okay. That puts event controller incomplete. That should be this guy, this guy. We'll go ahead and put this guy back to functional so that it works. The only thing we don't have is the battery. The battery is the one thing we can't easily hack, and I wish there was a mod for that. Basic assembler access denied. I'm pretty sure I hacked that. And lab equipment access denied. Okay, well, sure, yeah, okay, that's fair. Do a little blocky block like that. We'll do and then I want those colors. So,
Meteor storm inbound.
oh boy, meteor storm. Hopefully that turret can do some damage and save us.
Energy
There we go.
low.
Perfect. Life support, energon low. Let's go ahead and get this thing back here. We did take some damage. I wonder what blocks we're missing. Probably just light armor. It's fine. Although there is a hydrogen tank right there, which would have been pretty tragic if that kablooied. It doesn't appear that it did, so that's great news. Yeah. Okay, so then this thing we can... There we go. I'm pretty sure I hacked this. Didn't I hack this? I thought I hacked this. Alright, now we've got some stuff. We got some stuff and things. Look at this. The only thing we don't have is that warfare battery. Like I said, those are the hardest to hack. So probably likely what's going to happen there is I'm going to have to, I don't know, do something else about it. So, okay, we got ourselves a little base. We're going to call this, it's now our supply depot, but there's no oxygen here. I got to be honest, I thought that light doesn't show up on the grid. Does it? No, it doesn't. It does. Weird. I thought that, I thought this was going to be pressurized and some other stuff. This is like a neat walk space, but why? I don't really. So we got ourselves another base. This is fine. This is fine. Let's go ahead and close that door. That's good. This is a good thing to have. You know, we can we don't need that light on. And this, you're doing a good job, man. We're gonna take off and think about what we're gonna do with this thing, and then we're gonna go do the next thing. Whee! That was good. Nothing bad happened. That's what you want. Supply outpost, Nutter. You know what we should do? Thinking about that. Yeah, we'll leave it. It's fine. I was gonna say we should turn this thing on. Where is? There's something over here. We're gonna go investigate that next. What I was gonna say is there's ground zero on the fee mine. Okay, we're good. Fee mine is I was initially I didn't think I could see them. I was concerned that like, oh good, we don't have a fee mine. But that beacon that's a supply outpost. The beacon over there, the TF, what is that? The future leaders of Slovakia? I don't know. The TFSL, those guys, that beacon is a sales shop. So, all right, I'm gonna fly towards this thing. Hopefully, it pops up on my screen again, and we can figure out what it is, and maybe not get blown up more. And then I'll meet you back at the base if something interesting doesn't happen between those things. Catch you in a second. All right, I made the mistake of not recording, but there was this. I found this on the ground. Sax was the name of it. SACS or whatever. Um, Sax, my reputation with Sax is going down. It had a beacon on it. It had a warhead on it as well, which was a little alarming. Nothing too crazy, but not what you want when you walk up to a thing is a armed warhead. But I guess it lost its power when it hit the ground, which means that it's not wasn't a threat. But we did have some parts, so that's what that is. Ooh, Christ, that's weird. Okay, let's get to the fee mine, which is which way? Which way is the fee mine? I think it's near the beacon. We'll go towards the beacon. That should get us. That's what we're looking for, I think. Oh, I have to have my HUD on in order to find it, but I think it's this way. Private cell. I think it was just all in this general direction. I did make the mistake of the broadcast does not appear to be more than 5,000 meters or kilometers or maybe less than that, so that's kind of there it is. Yeah, it's probably 6,000 kilometers is what they're set to, which is fine. I can get to the fee mine and get everything done. Um, so kind of successful. We got ourselves a little base. We're kind of fuel is not great on this thing. Oh, there's another thing to grind down. Do we want to stop? We should stop. We should see what this is. If for no other reason, because stopping's funny. That's not funny. That's not the way I would describe it. What do we have here? It looks like. What does it look like? Parts! Yay! I love that for me. Why? You know what we can do? To repair the ship, I believe it's... Oh, wrong button. There we go. As we repair, as things take damage and we don't repaint it, we'll just continue to... There we go. Get this thing going. But as we repair stuff, it'll be like this gray color, and we'll just know that we've taken damage there. And that's just what it is. I should have parked the thing further away and just ground this stuff down, but scrap abandoned settlement. Scrap abandoned settlement. All right, fee mine looks good. You know what I've noticed? That's something to be cognizant of. Um, the mine over there, the magnesium mine, doesn't appear to have a beacon, and I'm pretty sure we did that. We'll find out in just a second, I guess. Just go ahead and get this thing hooked up. Alrighty, knock it down. Do this, turn them all on. I'm welded, we're good. Yeah, I don't know. Wah, dump all the crap in there. Gotcha. Yeah, I don't know why the MG mine doesn't have stuff. We're gonna just take a quick jaunt over there. Ooh, another unknown signal. Oh, and I had freak. You know what I did? I put all my seeds at the little base we just created. What is going on here? Did we not put an antenna on this thing like an ignat? Hmm. Okay, well, that's the thing we got to do next. Let me see what that's gonna look like. What if we, you know what? We'll get the flying squirrel. We'll get an antenna on that at some point. I'm not gonna worry about it right this second. But we should definitely have one on there. So, let's go ahead and eat a snack, even though, yeah, we probably need one. I'm also gonna go put my gun back in the. I'm gonna go put it up, and then I think the next thing we're gonna do, the next journey for today, we're gonna go lay out this. We're gonna lay out this thing. I think is what's gonna happen, and we're gonna put 3 of these here. My dog's gonna make a bunch of weird noise in the background. It'll be completely normal. No one will question it. No one will question it. He sounds like a leaky tire, if I'm being honest. All right. Yeah. Let me grab some parts. Let me grab some parts and stuff, and then we'll also take a nap because I want it to be daylight so you guys can see. We need to do that. 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 Those are the things you need to build things and stuff and things if you prefer. Yeah. So let me nap real quick, and then I'm gonna load up the flying squirrel, and then I'll pick you up once we get over there to start laying stuff out. Okay. Now, warehouse wise, we need to build out what appears to be a warehouse. If we go here and we grab this color, and then we do this, we're definitely going to lay out. Here's the thing I didn't think about, and this is something it is not uncommon for me not to think about. Grab this. One of the things Chad had asked is he didn't see perhaps how we were going to get ice into the system, and here I am probably messing that up. But the idea, if there's an idea, is going to be what is going to be the idea? I don't rightly know yet, but we're going to stick that block there and that block there so that we have those. I don't know why those need to not be wood versus wood. So the idea was going to be to have drills and maybe like some ice drilling systems out here that would do the feeding in. The other thing we didn't think about, which is something I hope I left myself enough space for, is that I don't have a way to get the food um, to a food processor. And I don't even think I mapped out where a food processor would be, which is, ultimately weird. I need to paint that on the backside apparently because it's painted concrete color. So yeah, I've got a food processing problem, um, which is okay. It just means I've got to figure out where I'm going to put the food processor. It's not going to be store facing. Like I was thinking maybe on the back of this, I could do like the food processor, which would is this guy here. The problem with food processing. Oh no, it does. Okay. So the problem with food processing is it definitely does not have the blocks that I would need to put it in there, but it does. That's going to be the block there. So food processing goes there. That's just what it is going to be. I like the idea of it also being green, but it doesn't matter right this second. So how to collect these things is really a problem. And part of me thinks, like, let's just, like, a general proof of concept, if we just do this guy here, and then we say, okay, you're going to go blap, blap, 2, 3, 4, 5. Obviously, this isn't going to be the exact way to do it, but if we come here and then we say, all right, you get to have, I need one of these things to not be, we don't need this right now, so collector. So if we put, so maybe I'm being gun shy right here, but the collector is obviously not going to fit right there because you see, it's just not. So I need this to be down a little bit, but when I was saying I'm gun shy, the thing that I'm gun shy about is that we had those grids just randomly drop. And if I have a whole bunch of small grid things overhanging this area in the way I'm thinking about doing it, then the issue is going to very quickly become that, well, it's going to become an issue, basically, is what I'm saying. Um, so what does that look like is the question. What do we want that to look like? And that I don't know. I don't really understand. I'm trying to think because I liked. If you guys saw last season, and some of you have obviously. So last season we had basically these systems that just every 2 minutes effectively these things rotated down. These collectors, small grid collectors rotated down, slurped up whatever was finished growing, and then went back up. Rotated down every couple of seconds. I'm making a hand motion you clearly can't see. We could do something like that, or we could do something like the other season where we didn't have that. Well, that was the same season, but so that was on the alien planet that we did these collector type things, and then on the other one we just had this piston system that basically just did that, made that noise and everything. That's the noise that it made. Trust me, I'm a doctor. So what if? Okay, I think I have an idea. Okay. I've got a pseudo plan in place. We need not this color. We need this will do. This color here, or not weldless. No, that's fine. I don't care about that too much. So we need this color here, and I think we're gonna do it pipes down like that. Okay, and then pipes down like this, and then so there's that. Okay, and then how would we do this? How would we do this? How would we do this? Let's think about how one does this. How would one do this? And I don't have an answer right this second. Let me workshop this really, really quick. Um, okay, just laying blocks out randomly. If I do that, and this isn't obviously over anything, this is just a test. See, that's not going to work because basically this block is going to have to be on top of that block. So if I have, okay, that's not going to work. So we know that's not the answer. But then if we block out here, block out here, block out here, and then we put this block, is that too far away for that to get picked up? And I think the answer is yes. I have no idea. No, I have really no way to test this right this second because I'd have to go into a test environment. Because if this works, we can just do that and have one over everything. But I don't think it does work. So then, what is the answer? Okay, I think I have. This is going to be overly complex and stupid, and we're going to risk it for the biscuit. But as we do here on the Quantum Tater Show, risking for the bisking is one of our most noble pursuits. Beautiful. Okay, so we need two of these. You know what? We just need to go over here and get in the old welder route, the old flying squirrel. We'll get in here, turn them engines on. We're gonna fly over first. We're gonna start the welders up because we've got the parts. We might as well do the work. Um, we're just gonna come over here and we're gonna weld this stuff up. You can ignore those blocks getting welded up top. I didn't need those to be welded right this second. But the other thing is we don't have any power on this grid, so I'm gonna have to put down a battery. Is what's gonna have to happen. Okay. We can do that. We can do that. That's fine. Let's go ahead and drop this thing down. This is a very heavy ship right now. I also painted the bottom and filled in the blocks on the bottom. So you can see we have cargo access down there if we needed it. It's kind of some skids to protect the cargo things. So I did give this thing I finished it out. I did the rest of the work. And we can add some lights so that we're not just sitting in the dark. Thank you for lighting my way. Look how bright it is with just the flying squirrel here. Okay, so my thought was we make this thing ever so slightly like this, but that is down and we need power. Okay, where are we going to put power? The first thing we should do, in my opinion, we should blow out this one here. We should blow out this one here. Okay. And what do we do? What do we do? What do we do? We find the block where I put the damn thing at. And so the blocks here, so if you think about this is the way I'm going to think about it. See, we pull the power cells from the bottom, from the top, and the ice is keeping the power cells nice and chilly. Chilly Billy, that's what we're doing there. And then we're going to turn on these guys here. We're going to turn the engines up really quick so I can fly over there and make sure we don't leave, what's it called, turned off. Perfect. Okay, we're gonna go grab ourselves some blocks. That's what we're gonna do. That's what we're gonna do. All right, we're coming down. We're going down, down, doobie doobie doo doo. I'm gonna just run back and grab the power cells from here. I think that's gonna be the best plan right now. We're just gonna come over here really quick. I'm gonna eat a snack, and yeah, let's see how this works. And if you guys not wondering, this is a mod that where we have these power cells, and we can take them out of here. Oh, I don't have enough weight to carry those things, so we're gonna put that back, and then we're also going to come in here. We need to produce more power cells. That's ammo, I believe, or it comes up under here. No, it comes under here, 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 here. 1, 2, 3, 4. There we go. Inventory, perfect. So we're gonna take this guy there. All right, I grabbed 5. That's okay. Five's good. Five's fine. Um, so, eh, 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 eh. 100. All right, there we go. We got 100 of those bad boys. Those things are all 100%. That'll be good. We need 3 more of those probably. We're gonna need more. I only have 3 for some reason in my inventory. That doesn't make sense. Why do I only have 3? 1, 2, 3. Does that mean one of these? What in Sam Hill? Did I lose my mind? What? I lost one, right? Yeah, I definitely lost one. Okay, well, that's cool and not at all the intent. But that's fine. We're just gonna take this full one, empty one over here because this is all full. We have 4 of those guys are all charging. It shows like there's more space. There's not. I think that's just the way it was designed, but that's okay. We're gonna grab these power cells. We're gonna get the grid on power so I can fix this thing up. Is what's gonna happen. So we'll go ahead and do that really quick. So for now, we'll grab here. You get 2, you get 1. We'll just put them all in here, that's fine. So this is all working now, so we need to raise this up. Let's say, go negative velocity, we're going to get you up a bit. I don't know what we're going to put you at, so that's fine right there. We're going to slow you down. Perfect. We can also put hinge lock just for now. And then what we'll do, okay. Ooh, why did that shake the way it did? That's okay. It shooketh. I'm shooketh to my core. I don't know if this is the way to do this. Hmm. So here's what I was thinking. What if we just let's get this thing off. Okay, we go positive this direction. This is asinine is what this is. We're just gonna put it all the way about 100. And then when we do this, we're gonna zero it out and we're gonna hinge lock right there. Okay. So that does that. That doesn't do anything good for us yet. But what we then can do, we can positively pause this, and then this isn't going to work the way I want it to. Let's see, here's what I was thinking. This is, and maybe you guys follow along. If I bring this thing down, nope. This isn't going to work. I don't know how to do this. So this is a problem to be solved at another time. Um, it's a problem to be solved another time. Yep, that's what this is. This does not need to be solved today. Uh,
Inventory full.
Long story short, what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here. I'm going to dump my inventory in this crap. I don't need this. Oh, I do want that back. Everything else is fine. That's perfect. We're gonna lay out the rest of this building, is what I'm thinking, and we'll come back to this little snafu of a problem because I don't have an answer to it yet. And we might need to expand the building, but I think what we're gonna do is the top side. So we're gonna do a time lapse right about meow. No, no, give me a second. Wait, 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 wait. Now we're gonna do time lapse. All right, let's go. Okay. All right, all right, all right, all right. I think we got something. We got something going on here. I kind of like this strut beam right here that sticks out a little bit. I kind of like the idea of this being back to concrete right there. I appreciate that. We got this here. We need to make sure we turn this thing off because it does not need to be on. This thing can also be off. This thing can be off. We don't have any need for those things to be powered up right now. In fact, we could probably go in and turn off a couple of things. This thing could be turned off. All right, this can be turned off. There we go. Pretty much anything on the grid. Honestly, we could probably get in here and turn most of it off. But what we got now, so we got this is kind of the framework. This is the elevation I want to see up above it. I'm gonna probably, if we look at, how do I do that? It's no, no, I want that color for sure. Back to the gray. And then I don't know what this looks like if we up like that, and then I weld here. I don't know how that's gonna, let's see. Kind of like the idea of this being kind of like that kind of that look, but you can see how like that kind of, no, actually it all jives quite well. I'm incredibly surprised by this, honestly, if I'm being honest. We'll probably upstage. We go one section where it's higher, like if I Do that right there. That'd be fine. That looks fine. And then I think what we're gonna do is go for like a battered everywhere else. Like this stuff down here will probably be definitely not digital camo. Let's turn off these. Where is? There's probably a quicker way to go through these things than the way I'm doing this, but there we go, battered. So I just like the texture that battered gives. So, but you see we get this kind of like, so it's not super fresh and new. Obviously, we might give it a paint job that's just not gray, but from the aspect of, being a warehouse piece of it, what that might look like and stuff. I'm surprised they don't have is a stone texture. Like they've got the wood texture. I'm surprised they don't have a stone texture that would be equally to at home with this. But this is kind of the shape I'm going for. Like when you look at the front of the building, you can see the extra shape in the back. I kind of want it to be a little bit taller. So what I might do is at this point, go back to this color, do like this, and then so like from here back, we'll just do like this raised section. And for no other reason other than I want it to have some dimension that's not just like flat block. Um, and this kind of thing. So it's got like, and the other part of that will be that if we do it that way, we should be able to put stuff at the back of the thing. We can have like exhaust vents and things like that, like give it some other textures, like piping details, etc., etc. And so if we do like that, and then if we look and see what this looks like by comparison to that block, is it going to be the same direction? And it is. So it may not be that gray. I might do like a black color or like a blue colored roof. I don't know. I haven't decided how I'm going to do it. We'll play with the color systems in it, but I think that's kind of what we want to do, and then we can do that right there, and then from here on out, basically the rest of this is creating an airtight space. Um, this looks weird to me, and I don't know. I don't know how I'm gonna fix that. That looks like a strange addition because it's just this big wall. But I don't think there's a block that does that transition, those two blocks right there. But I think this place will be airtight once we get that done. And then the same thing over here, we're gonna have to go and probably grab this here. This is actually gonna stick out one, just because I don't feel like drilling out enough to make that not do that. So I might do the same over here. Or may not. Nope, I'm not going to. We're going to have an asymmetrical building. It's fine. It doesn't bother me. It's probably, at the very least, going to bother Clyde. But Clyde, sorry, buddy. It's what it is. It's what it is. All right, we got some older piping there. We're going to have an O2H2 generator. That's going to be for small tanks. And then I think what we're going to try to do, honestly, I think my plan is going to be to do another small grid buoy, kind of off this thing here, where yeah, we're going to try to do a small grid thing and see what happens, because I can't think of another way I want to try to do the pickup of all these things, and I don't want to manually do that, but that's going to have to happen at another time. I like the idea of these pipes looking a little rough. Like, we don't keep the pipes clean, but we definitely, like, we keep the machines cleaned up, but the pipes get a little, rusty dusty. I think that's going to be a cool texture there. And then I could probably do the same over here with these pipes, with this color there. Everything stays clean, but the stuff, like, no one ever cleans the air vents in a place ever. So yeah, that's kind of what we're going for. I think it was pretty good. We got ourselves, what did we do today? We got ourselves a little base over there that I thought had more on it than it did. It doesn't even have air really in the space, so I don't know that that's going to be where we keep it up. Here's what's going to happen next time. I think what's going to go down is I'm going to flush out this building. Um, and then you guys are going to get a tour next time. Nobody really commented on what they thought would be the coolest way to handle that stuff. I also am thinking of a different shape for the overall roof texture in this back part here. If I decide to change it up, it will be, We might do that now. But anyways, so what I might do is go ahead and get this. Oh, wrong button. I'll go ahead and get this thing off stream, like give it a shape and a look and all this stuff. Get this thing built up, and then when we come back, you guys just get a tour of the facilities, and then we can maybe talk about what I did in order to. Oh, that's not going to work. See, here's the problem. Because I didn't. Yep, there's the problem. Anyways, so that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna kind of give this thing a not a vibe check. That's not what I want to say, but we're gonna give this a once over and see what it looks like, see how we do, and then um, from there figure out what we want to do. And I think that's gonna work out. I think we're gonna be awesome. That's what I think. Um, that being said, you can clearly see we have a bunch of blocks that
Inventory full.
the inventory is full of. So yeah, if you guys enjoyed this, you always know what to do. You guys are my heroes. I appreciate you coming along. If you got any ideas, design-wise, what this should or shouldn't look like, you let me know. I have limited ideas. I'm a limited idea type of guy sometimes. Sometimes I've got a lot of good ones. Sometimes I got not so good ones. But I think this is gonna be kind of cool. I like this little bracing thing over there. I might do the same on this side. Um, obviously with no windows, but I could definitely go into here and do this sucker right this way, and you know, same exact thing, go like that, and then this just attaches the system all the way onto the building, and I think that looks kind of neat. Yeah, so I got to figure out something to do with those things. If you have any ideas about how we do all these collectors things, I know Chad has talked about systems that auto plant and do all those things. I don't know that I'm going to go that hard, but maybe I will. Maybe this is the one where we get the script where the collectors you have to put a collector on it, and you have to put a collector on it, and you have to put on a ejector, and then it ejects the seeds onto the thing. It auto plants, etc. We can look at that. Maybe I don't know that it's something we're going to do, but it's always worth an idea. I do like the idea of this roofing system up here being better, because then I can use the roofing for potentially solar panels, stuff like that. But we have a lot of extra blocks out here that we do not need anymore. So I'm going to go ahead and get that ground down. If you guys enjoyed this, please like, share, subscribe, comment down below. Keep my traffic up. I love it. We're growing slowly but surely. I'm a grower, not a shower, as they say, with no reference to this at all. But I appreciate you guys. And yeah, let's see. I could probably give us a goodbye. As always, I will catch you later, taters. And stay ornery ahead. Stay ornery first. Be kind second. Bye.